Hello everyone, I'm Colin Canet. Today I'm finally getting around to doing some fine tuning on my table saw, and I'm going to be getting up close and personal with my splitter and riving knife, so stick around. Now anytime you're doing this kind of work, you're going to be in the blade path, so make sure that you're unplugged. This is the splitter and combination of blade guard and anti-kickback pawls, and you can see the teeth there. Most splitters, or I should say many splitters at least, they're actually a vertical bar, but you can see this one is sort of arched, and it has the same sort of design as a riving knife. And both of these have the same purpose. The reason for the splitter and the reason for the riving knife, the reason they were designed was when you're cutting natural woods, and sometimes they have built-in tensions in them so that when you're pushing them through the blade, they will pinch together behind the blade, and when that happens, the back of the blade catches that wood and it wants to throw it back at the person pushing it through. So that's what the riving knife and splitter, that's what they were designed to help reduce or eliminate. Now my whole purpose here today is to align the splitter, or if I'm using the riving knife, so that they align with this side of the blade, because right now I have to use these shims. And when I do that, it means it doesn't matter what blade I'm using. When I'm using the splitter or the riving knife, it'll always align on that side of the blade, and I never have to readjust it again, and I never have to use these shims anymore. Now, this manufacturer, instead of setting up this little slot here properly, what they did was, to their advantage, they gave me a bunch of these little shims, which were not sufficient. There wasn't enough of them. So I had to go out and make my own brass shims, so that every time I have to put my splitter or my riving knife in, I have to put those shims in. Otherwise, this riving knife is too far over on this side. And what that means is that when wood is pushing through, it actually jams into the riving knife or splitter. So you have to put these shims in to move the whole thing over this way a little bit in order for it to work properly. So when I was looking at this recently, because it's very annoying every time you pull it out, if it's a little bit tight, of course these shims fall out and then they drop down into the saw and you have to fish them out, and it's just, the whole thing is just all very annoying when you could set this thing up properly. Now the other day when I was looking at this, I noticed that there are some nuts or some bolts underneath, and it looks like I can take this whole thing off and put some shims, some proper shims on this, between this and the carcass of the saw, so that I move the whole thing over this way, and that way I don't have to keep using these shims all the time, and it's something the manufacturer should have done in the first place. Now it doesn't look like you're going to be able to see anything, because I need to put this Allen wrench way down here and I can't get a camera angle in there properly. So I think what I'll show you the wrench in there. Maybe you can see it sitting in the bolt there. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this off, and then I'll show you after it's off what it looks like. So on my saw, that's how that was sitting, and there was a couple of cap screws, and that's all it is on the inside. So all I need to do is cut a couple of plates, and I already have some shims that work, so I know the thickness already. All I need to do is cut a couple of plates and put a couple of holes back in. And I could even use that, but I'm going to make a proper plate all the way around there, and then put that back in, and that should set that up perfectly. Okay, so this doesn't need to look particularly pretty under here, so I'm just going to use my tin snips and cut off a couple of blanks like that, and then I need to drill some holes, and I'm going to make the holes a little bit bigger than what's there. And I think the best way to do that, when I've got the little parts done, I'm just going to use this scribe that I've got and drill a hole. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's good. That one's upside down. There we go. Yeah, that's great. Now, I don't think you're going to be able to see much because my hand's going to be in the way, but you can see the two holes down there, and that's where those are going to go into, and I'm going to try putting them in with these bolts sort of sticking out like that, so I'll see how that goes. Okay, that's tight on there. I'm going to put one of my full kerf blades on there and just tighten that down. And now for the moment of truth to see whether that outside of this blade is going to be level with my riving knife. All right. Ooh, that's looking good. What I want to see is that wants to be no, and see there's, oh, you can't see on that side, can you? So I just repositioned that camera so you can see this. Now what I need to do, I need to make sure that I'm on a tooth on either side of the blade here, because remember the tooth is almost always a little bit proud of the actual steel on the blade, and when I run that through on a tooth, it's actually running exactly perfect. Where's the one down here? There we go. Yeah, it happens to be just perfectly aligned. So what that means now, whether I've got a thin kerf or a thin kerf blade, the wood on this side is going to align perfectly. So I don't have to readjust this ever again. Well, that concludes my video for today. Realigning the splitter or riving knife on my table saw, and there will be, don't forget, there will be an article on Woodwork Web about doing this. Pertains to my saw, and it may pertain to your saw as well, and maybe there's some things that you can do on your saw that will make it more convenient and safer for you to use. I'm Colin Kinnett for Woodwork Web. Thanks for watching.